Today's guest on The Pulse, you may know as Wallace Peeples, formerly incarcerated. You may know as internet superstar Wallo267, but no matter how you know him, he's got an amazing and exciting story, and today he's here to share it with us. Wallace Peeples.
Yes.
Wallo267.
Yes.
We appreciate you coming. You're actually the first person to
I
be
appreciate
in this
being,
studio.
listen, I appreciate being at the Pulse, man. I'm loving it, man.
We've heard about your story. A lot of
Okay.
people have heard your story. But let's start there. What's your story that people may not know, kind of the background that got you to here?
Oh, well, my story is, young kid growing up in the inner cities of Philadelphia. Around 9, I got introduced to the street culture. About June 30th of 1990, I wound up getting arrested for armed robbery. The weekend after that, I got arrested again. I was only 11 years old for a couple of days at the time. September 1990, I wound up going to juvenile facility, St. Michael School for Boys. Spent the year there, came home, got arrested again. And I wound up spending 5 years inside of the juvenile system. And then when I was 17, I got arrested for 2 armed robberies and firearm violations. Got sentenced to a total 19 and a half to 52 years. And that was the journey. Growing up.
17.
Yeah, I was 17. I got sentenced, certified as an adult. Just not knowing who you are, having identity crisis, wanting to be down. Because, I came from the hood, and in the hood, you got to have things in order to be accepted a lot of times. And I wanted to be cool, It costs to be cool, but I wanted to be it.
17, they gave you 20.
Yeah.
What's that like? You're 17 years old, think you're on the path, and then life kind of hits you at that point.
I'm going to tell you something real. It's the scariest thing ever. Because you're 17, now you're going to be, you think you're moving like an adult. So now you're going to adult prison, and now it's like, Bill, you dealing with a different situation now. Now it's, scared. I'm going to a prison with grown men, and you've seen all these visuals growing up of movies about prisons. I don't know what's going to happen. You just don't know. So it's all this stuff running through your minds. And I'm 17, and I'm talking about, when I'm talking about scared is an understatement.
It's interesting. That's a scary story.
Man, it's scary.
And it's a story, and knock on wood, I have not been in jail, so I don't know. But that's what I would imagine it would be. But most people aren't comfortable to share.
Man,
that.
listen.
Most people don't want to admit they were scared.
Listen, man, one of the part of me sharing my story, I try to, share my story so these young kids in the inner cities of America can learn from my story and don't live my story. So that's important, is why I share it. And I think transparency is everything, because if, you can save somebody's life and you can help them, and it's like, what do I got reason to lie, man? I was scared. I'm a 17-year-old kid. I ain't no man. I'm thinking I'm big guys in there. You're just thinking all types of stuff,
Is that what changed you? You got in there. Was that the realization? I'm a 17-year-old kid. You kind of got in there and realized where you were. Did that change the mindset, or was that over
No,
time?
it took time, because when you get in there, you see your friends. It wasn't like I thought it was, and I thought it would be. When you get there and people mind their business and all that. But I'm telling you about my fear and how I was. You'll see people go through different phases, man. Some people go in there and keep going to the hole, keep fighting, whatever. Sometimes jail is like the streets. So the choice is yours, whether you want to grow, or you want to stay the same. And sometimes we choose to stay the same. And for a while, I was just in there, just doing time. And then as I start to read more, elevate my mind more, and I realized, I woke up one day and realized, yo, man, I'm in jail for being somebody that I'm not. And when I say being somebody that I'm not, I'm just a young kid that wanted to be down.
Right.
You
weren't a, in quotes, hardened criminal.
It wasn't like I was killing nobody, and I wasn't that tough. You know what I mean? And I ain't saying, I just was out there committing crimes to try to get things in order for people to like me.
Tell me about the Book of Life, because that was part of that.
Oh, man, the Book of Life
that you had.
The Book of Life is like, it was just a composition book that I bought off Commissary, and I started writing it. And I would write everything down. Like if I seen something, I would write it down. If somebody told me something about the free world, I would write it down, because all these things I wanted to experience when I get out and know about. Like I used to watch Anthony Bourdain all the time. That was like with my guy, Parts Unknown, No Reservation, The Layover. That was like my favorite person in the world. Okay. Rest in peace to him. And he educated me, because what he did when I sat in the cell, I was able to travel the world. I started understanding marketing more, and understand that most things in this world is just market to us. And the marketing is the remote controls of our lives.
But at some point, you grasp this marketing. You understand that you have the capacity and the ability to do that marketing. And then you discover social media.
Yeah, when I was in prison, a homeboy of mine, shout out to you, he came into my cell one day. He had an iPod Touch and a wireless hotspot. It was I'll never forget, it was a clear wireless hotspot. and an iPod Touch. I remember I wrote Google down in the book of life because a young kid was telling me about Google in the yard one day, you know, because every time somebody would come to prison, like a younger kid, and they'd know, like I knew their parents or whatever, like grew up with them, they'd come looking for me. And I was walking in the yard with them because every time somebody would come to prison, I would interrogate them about the free world, about what's out there, what this look like, what they wearing, where they go. Oh yeah, what buildings here, what they eating, what's the name of that restaurant, what's that? Like it was a bunch of stuff. I used to just ask a million questions. And he told me about Google and I thought he was lying because he said, yeah, I could type your name in on Google and I could find you. And I'm saying to myself, how you could type my name in on Google? I've been in jail this long. You lying, that's impossible. Because a lot of times when you go to prison, you're stuck in a time that don't exist no more. And that time is your entry point.
People don't realize how completely disconnected you are. Google was new to you, buying a flight, like all that stuff.
All that stuff he would teach, people would teach me, and I would always ask, anybody that know, they'd say, Dan, he always asking questions, he always talking. I'm always trying to figure it out because I'm always trying to get information because one thing the greatest thing that I learned is that I'm just a baby in this world. And because most of my life on this planet, I've been incarcerated more than I've been free. So by that, 5 years within the juvenile system and 20 years in prison, I'm only 42. So with that, I'm looking at the world like I'm a student.
Next on The Pulse, Wallow explains why even fresh out of jail, he's all about helping others.
I'll never forget, my brother called me one time, he said, don't stop. My brother Troy, he was like, man, what you doing, man? People be needing that stuff, bro, even me.
Welcome back to The Pulse. Today, we're spending some time with social media superstar Wallow267, providing some tips and some inspiration. Let's keep the conversation going. So you did all your time?
Yeah. No, I'm still on parole.
But you served how long?
I served 20.
So you served 20?
Yeah.
Got out. You had already started building the Wallow social media in jail.
Yeah.
Contraband phone.
Contraband phone. Got caught up with that. They came in my cell. I had some phones and all this stuff and the ceiling. He caught me with that, shipped me to another prison and all that stuff. And
just for doing social media.
it wasn't just social media. I was watching porn and all that stuff. I'm just be real though. You know what I mean? I'm in jail all that time. I'm on this thing and I'm like, this is amazing because I never knew that you could travel the world with the palm of your hand. The technology made the world so small. And I used to just be looking at stuff, but like that's why I started Wallow267 on social media.
So when you got released,
I
remember, I don't know if it was an article or something, but I saw that you were out, saw your story. That was when you were still taking the phone and sticking it up to fences. So you got out, you were putting them up on the fence. You started these kind of daily inspirational messages.
Every day.
Why?
Because people needed them. You know, one thing about us humans, a lot of times, we never think about help until we need help. We never think about helping nobody else. We always tell them, I want help. So I said, you know what? I knew that it was like, I knew it was people going through it every day because when I first got home from Philly, I used to walk the streets of Philadelphia every day. And you know what's crazy? I used to listen to, there's an artist I used to listen to named Sampa. I used to listen to his old album and I used to listen to Bruce Springsteen, Streets of Philadelphia. You know what I mean? That song from the Philadelphia movie soundtrack. And I walked the whole streets and I used to just see people, man, the trash man, the bus driver scepter, the mail lady. And I used to see hardworking people. And sometimes it looked like they needed a push. People started noticing me. And they were like, hey, man, I like that in the morning, man.
Why? Why you? Like, why do you think? Because you were, you know, as you said, most of your life had been spent in jail, especially at that point, and doing things that were questionable for the neighborhood. You get out, you start giving motivational messages, slowly but surely jump from about 30,000 to now you're up 1.5 million followers. Why do you think people cared? Why are they listening to you?
It's hard not to listen to a person that's willing to even point out their own faults. I was just being transparent and I was being real, and it was like I had to get back to what I taken from. And I know even when I was in jail, they used to call me the information king. I used to always give people information, read this book, do this and that. So it was the same thing I was doing in prison, like, you know what I mean? But I just didn't have that. So like I would always encourage people no matter what was going on. So it was like, for me, I'll never forget, my brother called me one time, he said, don't stop. My brother Troy, he was like, man, what you doing, man? People be needing that stuff, bro, even me.
What are some of the, I've seen them, obviously, and I think a lot of people watching, listening, probably have seen them. Your messages were about be better. Your messages were about how you treat your spouse or whomever.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
it was about you bigger than what you're going through. Rather you're going through drugs, you in the rehab, you're in a halfway house, come home from prison. It was that. Or I was giving messages to returning sentences like, listen, just stick in there. I know things might be rough. It comes from a place of just understanding life and understanding a piece of life, and having friends and people from all walks of life.
You're comfortable having those friends in all different places.
Yeah,
you don't
because-
seem like you've shied away from anybody.
Because what is a friend? A friend is not based off of finance. A friend is not based off of where they at mentally at the moment. A friend is not based off of race, gender. It ain't based off of none of that. A friend is a friend. It's called friend. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of times we try to classify, oh, I'm only going to deal with these people as my friends. I only want these people as my friends. No, I'm not going to say that, oh, because, you get success. The people that's not successful, they can't be your friends because their alarm clock ain't come on to get out of the darkness that you was in. Mm-hmm. Them having a contact with you and understanding that, oh, wow, made it. You know what I mean? You don't know. It might be that next talk. It may be that next moment before that arrest or before somebody do something to them that could change their life because they was able to call you. So that's necessary.
You share your background. You talk about all the challenges that you face. But it seems like, and I don't get the impression that anything with you isn't real. But it seems like that concern for community, that concern for people, the importance of friend, that's what's driving you.
I think about a lot of times kids, because the reason I think about the kids is because, like, I understand a lot of their fathers is in jail or dead. Mm-hmm. And the most important thing in our community is the kids and them having an opportunity, them seeing an example. Like, when you look at me, it's like, I'll just be trying to show people from the inner cities of America that anything is possible. Whether you was in drug addiction, whether you was in prison, whatever you may went through, you might have some issues in life, hardships, because life is not easy.
Coming up next, why what you see may not always tell the whole story. Were you this guy when you were committing crime?
You know what's crazy? When I was committing crime, I still was the respectful person in the neighborhood to the elders. I still was a little Wally.
Welcome back to The Pulse. Let's get right back to it with Wallow 267. Were you this guy when you were committing crime?
You know what's crazy? When I was committing crime, I still was the respectful person in the neighborhood to the elders. I still was a little Wally. I was just always funny. Everybody know I was funny, crazy. Yeah. I was always energetic. And
just got caught up.
When I was a kid, and I used to sit on the step or sit on the curve, and I used to see the successful criminal pull up in his Benz with his jewelry on, and he had the most beautifulest girl in the neighborhood. I wasn't just watching him. I was watching how the people in the community watched him with awe and respect. And I said, oh, I got to be that.
You get out, you start building. You're 1.5 million. You got your brand that you're wearing. It seems like you know how to make money. At some point, I read this article about your podcast. Mm-hmm. And they put your business in the street.
Yeah.
They talk about you signed a multi-million-dollar deal for this podcast. What was interesting to me in seeing that, and the money, obviously, everybody reads the money. But in the fine print was you only sold 50% of it.
I never sold nothing. We ain't sell none of it.
So the articles indicated you gave up half of it.
No, we never gave up nothing.
Then that makes my question even deeper.
Yeah.
You could have gotten a stack of cash, walked away, but you would have lost control of what you were building. Mm-hmm. Why not take the money and people saying, where's Wallow? After everything you had been through, you could now chill, moving forward. But you didn't do that. You stayed connected.
The thing is this. I don't never think of stopping, And when you make deals out here, or partnerships, brand deal, whatever, that's the beginning. That's only the beginning. See, a person that think all the hard work up until then, that's just like a person when they get to the league. Now you in the league now you got to go up. You got to really perform.
Just keep grinding.
Yeah, they just keep grinding.
I saw you mentioned earlier when we were talking, you did 20 years, but you're still on probation. Mm-hmm. There's a petition to try to get you off probation. Yeah. Why? Why are you fighting that fight?
You just want to be able to fly. Like every time I go anywhere I went to in the world, but I always got to ask. And sometimes that ask could be shut down. Things can happen. So I want to be able to just go. You know what I mean?
So you need permission to leave.
Yeah, I need permission. But most of the time, they're going to give it to me. I'm in good standings with the Pennsylvania Parole Board. I never had no problem. They don't give me no problems. So it's like, even done a program with them to help people that was on a run get reinstated, where we had hundreds of guys came in, But it's like, I never been off paper since I was 11. So it's just to be able to be physically free, like it's something to me. It's like a dream of mine.
If you go look at it at change.org, the petition to get you off probation, it's one of the most popular petitions out. It's over 200,000 signatures.
Yeah.
To go. You're not saying, I mean, you freely admit that you were in the streets.
Yeah, I've done this. I wasn't innocent.
Okay, so you weren't innocent.
No, I never was innocent. That's why
Why should people be on board with this?
Why people should be on board because if you believe in change, I mean, change is real. So they don't have to be on board if they decide to. Some people might say, I ain't with that. I'm not upset with them.
A lot are on board.
A lot are on board, but it's like I'm just thankful for them. But it's like it's just something that I want for myself.
The reason I bring that up is because you said I'm not innocent.
Yeah,
I did it, and it's still resonating with 200,000 people plus. Why do you think it was so important to them? It seems like that message must be something that people.
You got to understand this. A lot of people in the communities that we come from, families are affected by incarceration. Not too many times do they see their family member come home and do something on another level and be able to help people, inspire people, and do things for people. So so that's probably a part of why they back it.
Next on The Pulse, half his life was spent incarcerated, and yet somehow he's still grateful.
And I don't want nobody to take this wrong, but jail saved my life. Because that's the only place in the world where you got a large amount of time to think.
Welcome back to The Pulse, having a great, deep conversation with Wallo267. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right back to it. How much has life changed now that people know you're out there? They know about that level of success.
It's just cool, man. It's just, hey, wow, what's up, man? Are you crazy? You don't get. So it's just all right. It's not like I still go to Target. You know what I mean? I still go to
do videos.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that's I don't know why. I like to post up in the aisle. They got good lighting. I just put my phone there and just go crazy.
You're going to remain connected?
I'm never going to be disconnected because in this world, this is what people don't understand. The roots hold up the tree, the soil, that dirt, that stuff that don't look so pretty that's under that's what hold the tree up. The tree is just a beautiful part of it, but you got to stay connected to the roots.
Social media grew. Clothing line continues to grow. You've had books. Yeah,
I put three of my own books out. The Mind of Wallo267, 1, 2, and 3. That's on my site, on my website.
That continues to grow. You said that you can't stop once you're in the league. What's next? What do you envision?
This year, there's a lot of big stuff. Our partnership expired with Barstool this year.
You want to come do a show with me? we got extra.
Yeah, we got some stuff. Yeah,
you sit right here. We can change the name. It can be The Pulse with Wallo267.
No, but see, I think I'm be more in developing shows. We got a media company. We working on to where it's though not just podcasts. I'm talking about TV shows, all that stuff. So I'm focusing more on getting an executive chair, really helping people, amplifying people in the inner cities across America that really got it. There's a lot of people that got it that never get a shot. It's different stuff going on, and I just taking notes right now. I'm getting my list together of people that I'm going to get, So that's what I'm working on. I just curated, me and Gil, we just curated the Roots Picnic podcast stages for 2 days. So it's a lot of stuff coming on.
Picture, everybody has mugshot pictures. Did you ever, at this point, where you are right now, doing commercials and doing movies and talking about executive level stuff, and there's not a lot of rooms you can't get in?
No.
When you look back at that picture and then you see yourself now, what do you think about when you see that?
I never forget when I took that picture. I first got the dollars and I was shook, and it was like there was a lot of fear going on. I wasn't sure what tomorrow was going to bring, but to be where I'm at now is a blessing. Jail, and I don't want nobody to take this wrong, but jail saved my life. Because that's the only place in the world where you got a large amount of time to think. You can't, uninterrupted, so and to figure things out. Yeah. And what it did for me was it preserved my imagination. I went to prison 17, came out 37. Now, the imagination of a 17-year-old was still in that 37-year-old man, which is the people that was out here in real life, their imagination get beat down when life happened. So when I come out, that 17-year-old that believe everything is possible, 37-year-old believe that now, and still to this day.
So that one thing that you wanted when you were locked up, you got the freedom.
That and the phone.
We're still a new show.
Yeah.
And as we're talking to different people and trying to set up interviews and what have you, there's limits of things that people don't want to talk about. You said, when can we do it? There's no fear.
Because at the end of the day, the story of me is I'm just a human being. Human beings make mistakes. Human beings do dumb stuff, even when you know better. And people need to see that sometime, you know? Mm-hmm. Just to get a reminder that it's cool to mess up. All right, you mess up, so what? It's cool. But at the end of the day, you just got to be able to get back up again. We fall down,
but we get up. Yeah.
But we get up. You know what I mean? So it's like, at the end of the day, that's life, man. You know, and you got to deal with it head on.
Thank you so much for spending some time with us today on The Pulse. Really enjoyed spending some time with Wallo 267 and hearing his story, and I hope you did as well. And remember, if you want the full story, the long version, you can check out the podcast. You can get it where all podcasts are available, and we'll see you next week on The Pulse.